Vishnupada Paramahansa Acharya Ashtottara Shata Srimad Abhay Charanaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories assembled devotees. All glories assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the morning Bhagavatam class. Today we are reciting the verse from Canto 3, Chapter 20, conversation between Maitreya and Vidrya, and the text 18. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 18. Sasarjachaya vidyam pancha parvanamagrita tamishram andatamishram tamo moha mahatama. Sasajrachaya vidyam pancha parvanamagrata tamishram andatamishram tamo moho mahatama. Sasarjachaya vidyayam pancha parvanamagrata tamishram andatamishram tamo moho mahatama. Sasarjachaya vidyayam pancha parvanamagrata tamishram andatamishram tamo moho mahatamaha. Sasarjachaya vidyam pancha parvanamagrata tamishram andatamishram tamo moho mahatama. Sasarjachaya vidyam pancha parvanamagrata tamishram andatamishram tamo moho mahatamaha. Sasarjachaya vidyam pancha parvanamagrata tamishram andatamishram tamo moho mahatamaha. Mataji. Sasarjachaya vidyayam pancha parvanamagrata tamishram andatamishram tamo moho mahatama. What to? Sasarjachaya vidyayam pancha parvanamagrata tamishram andatamishram tamo moho mahatama. So what meaning? Sasarja, created, chayaya, with his shadow, avidyayam, ignorance, Pancha Parvanam. 5 varieties. Agrata. First of all. Tamishram. Tamishra. Andatamishram. Andatamishra. Tama. Tamas. Moha. Moha. Mahamoha. Mahatama. Mahatamas. Or Mahamoha. Translation. First of all, please repeat with me. First of all, Brahma created from his shadow the coverings of ignorance of the conditioned souls. They are 5 in numbers and are called Tamishra, Andatamishra, Tamas, Moha, and Mahamoha. Purport. It's a little bit big, but yeah, first we'll read this one entire purport, then we'll discuss. Purport. The conditioned souls are living entities who come into the material world to enjoy sense gratification are covered in the beginning by 5 different conditions. The first condition is covering of Tamishra or anger. Constitutionally, each and every living entity has minute independence. It is misuse of that minute independence for the conditioned souls to think that he can also enjoy like Supreme Lord, or to think, why shall I not be a free enjoyer like Supreme Lord? The forgetfulness of his constitutional position is due to the anger or envy. The living entity being eternally a part and parcel of servitor of the Supreme Lord can never by constitution be an equal enjoyer with the Lord. When he forgets this, however, and tries to be one with him, his condition is called Tamishra. Even in the field of spiritual realization, this Tamishra mentality of the living entity is hard to overcome. In trying to get out of the entanglement of material life, there are many who want to be one with Supreme, even in their transcendental activities with lower grade mentality of Tamishra continues. Andatamishra involves considering death to be the ultimate end. The atheists generally think that the body is the self and everything is therefore ended with the end of the body. Thus, they want to enjoy material life as far as possible during the existence of the body. Their theory is as long as you live, you should live prosperously. Never mind whether you commit all kinds of so-called sins. You must eat sumptuously, beg, borrow and steal. And if you think that by stealing and borrowing you are being entangled in sinful activities for which you will have to pay, then just forget that misconception, because after the death everything is finished. No one is responsible for anything he does during this life. This atheistic conception of life is killing human civilization, for it is without knowledge of the constitution of eternal life. This Andatamishra ignorance is due to Tamas. The condition of not knowing anything about the spirit soul is called Tamas. This material world is generally called Tamas because 99% of its living entities are ignorant of their identity as soul. Almost everyone is thinking that he is this body. He has no information of the spirit soul. Guided by this man's conception, one always thinks, this is my body and anything in relation with this my body is mine. For such misguided living entities, sex life is the background of material existence. Actually, the conditioned souls in ignorance in this material are simply guided by sex life, and so as soon as they get the opportunity for sex life, they become attached to the so-called home, motherland, children, wealth and opulence. As these attachments increases, moha or illusion of the bodily concept of life also increases. Thus the idea that I am this body and everything belongs to this body is mine also increases. And as the whole world is put into the moha, sectarian societies, families and nationalities are created and they fight with one another. Maha moha means to be mad after material enjoyment. Especially in this age of Kali, everyone is overwhelmed by the madness of the accumulate paraphernalia for material enjoyment. These definitions are very nicely given in Vishnu Purana, where it is said, Tamo viveko mohasyad antakarana vibrama maha mohastu vigneyo gramya boga sukaisana. Maranam hi anda tamishram krodha uchyate avidya pancha parvayesha prabhuhuta mahatmana. So very nice and long purport. So let's read Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Runda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we are continuing with the chapter Conversation between Maitreya and Vidrya. So the conversation started. Before that, the sages in Naimisharanya asked Sukadev Goswami, what did Brahma do after creating what did Swayambhuva Manu did after creating this world? So then to explain that question, then Suta Goswami started this chapter Conversation between the Maitreya and Vidura. And this Vidura was asking, what did Brahma do after creating the Prajapatis? So the all questions are related to the material world, how the material world is created. So in relation to the today's verse, it's nicely explaining, once the living entity comes into this material world, what other things, to create the material, what are the things, it starts with which activity. So how the various things are created. So one of them is ignorance, which is having 5 coverings. That is what the mainly Prabhupada is emphasizing. So, but before that, we will go one step back. So, before understanding the creation of this material world, we'll start what are the situations, conditions which makes Jiva to come into this material world. And then how it is created. The Jiva entered into the material world. So, in Bhagavad Gita, in various chapters, when we start reading Bhagavad Gita, first we say, we are not the body, we are the soul. And we are part and parcel of the Krishna. And our ultimate final aim is, there are various concepts in various chapters, we get these sentences like, our ultimate aim is we fell down from the material spiritual world, and our aim is to go back to Godhead. And we have a material world and spiritual world, and a living entity. So the material world is external energy of Krishna, and the spiritual world is internal energy, potency of Krishna, and the living entity is marginal energy of Krishna. These are various concepts in various places we summarized, we mentioned. So let's connect all these things together and try to understand how the living entity is, how it was in spiritual world, why he coming to material world. That's we try to understand, connecting all these various philosophical. We read all those things in separately. Let's try to put together and understand why living entity is coming into material world. So we know that the Brahma Samhita, one of the famous verses we read, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karana. So Krishna is Sachitananda Vigraha. Sat means eternal, Chit is full of knowledge, Ananda means bliss. Now Krishna is these qualities in the form of Vigraha. Krishna is exhibiting these qualities, experiencing these qualities. So now the blissful Ananda, how is deriving this Ananda? Because he is having the various devotees in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, he is exhibiting different rasas. There are 5 primary rasas: Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. And there are many other secondary rasas like Bhibhatsa, Hasya, Chivalry. So these are all rasas in the spiritual world. Krishna is exhibiting with living entities. That is where he created, to have the blissful environment, he created living entities there in spiritual world, and he is having the nice relationship with them in various rasas. So this is the purpose where jivas were initially, we were in the spiritual world. Now, what happened? Why spiritual living entities coming into the spiritual world? Because we heard that, okay, initially we were all in the spiritual world, we fell down to material world. Why it is happening? Because we desire to come into the material world. But when we are in the spiritual world, like whoever is in the spiritual world, they are completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Doing the loving service to Krishna, whether any Goloka or any Vaikuntha planets, you are completely absorbed in consciousness of that Vishnu or Krishna. Then how you will get a desire to fall down into material world? What is the reason? This we can understand with some material examples. See, so you will be going out, you go to any malls or anywhere, places, outside stadiums, or you are walking on the road. Suddenly one nice celebrity comes. When you see on the road, how he will come? He will come in a luxurious car. And he will be having so many personal bodyguards, security, right? And he was having so much opulence. Similarly, if you are in the office, suddenly your boss, CEO, not just boss, CEO or chairman of the company comes. How he comes? When he comes, again he will be in a big or luxurious car. He will have so many assistants, so many secretaries, and he will have everything. He will have so much opulence, richness, you will see. When you see all these things in your mind, you will have a desire. I could also be like this, right? That it's for a moment of time, for a fraction of time. Maybe you are in a conscious devotional path, anything, but momentarily you will get this kind of thought. I think we all experience that. Whenever we go on the road, if any seeing something is attracted, suddenly our mind will think that, okay, I should have this nice thing. So these are the momentary desires. It's not actually our real interested in, but momentarily it comes into our mind. When these things come in the spiritual world also, when Krishna is nicely enjoying with all his devotees, most of the devotees are fully absorbed in serving Krishna. But sometimes some devotees, some living entities will get this momentarily, the fraction of seconds, he will get desire. Oh, I should also enjoy like Krishna. So that momentarily desires brings him to the material. Because Krishna is Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the well-wisher of all the living entities. Whatever you desire, he wanted to fulfill. That is Krishna's position. He never imposed anything on us. So he wanted to give whatever you, since you desired, Krishna wanted to fulfill the desire. But problem here is, in spiritual world, because we know the Bhagavad Gita says, Bhoktaram Yajnatapam Sarva Lokam Aishwaram. In the spiritual world, Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer. We are only part and parcel of Krishna. We are helping him through our service, he will be enjoying. And we are Mame Vamsha Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So, how Jiva can, so there is an issue. Jiva cannot enjoy in the spiritual world. Because Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer and we are part and parcel of Krishna, that is our position in the spiritual world. We can't enjoy separately from Krishna in the spiritual world. So, we have to keep other location for Krishna. That is where the option is material world. This is how the material world is created. Once it is created, the Jiva will be placed in this material world, then he will be entangled. So now we will have three things. So material world, spiritual world and the living entity. Now this material world is made up of 5 gross elements and 3 subtle elements. Gross elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether. And the subtle elements, mind, intelligence, false ego. These are all on its own, they are dead matter. They don't have any consciousness, anything. So they are dead matter kind of thing. So then it is called inferior energy. These material things are inferior. Whereas living entity is, the spirit soul is having a consciousness. So it's a superior living. So now what is happening? Superior living entity, the superior energy is coming and contacting with the inferior energy of material world. So when you come into this material world, this is what happening. So now the Krishna, in this verse it is explaining, He will have all so he has to, he comes into the material world. So in the spiritual world, you are conscious of Krishna. You are away from all enjoyments, everything. Your only purpose is to serve Krishna. But how you have to remove those? If you have to enjoy, you should not have those thoughts in your mind, right? You should forget those things. How it is happening? Then he is creating these coverings. With these coverings, the 5 things: Tamishra, Andatamisra, Tama, Moha, and Mahamoha. All these coverings are created so that you will forget your original identity. Now, one more aspect of, when we discuss, Jiva is having the independence, right? The free will. We always hear in Bhagavad Gita, Jiva has a free will. Now, some people may ask, if the Jiva has independence, free will, why cannot choose his body in the next birth? Right? Actually, this is what the free will. So I can choose my next body. I should have the independence to choose my next body. But is that the case? No. What is happening? We are destined based on our karma. Our karma will decide where we are going to have a next birth. So what does it mean? Jiva, we are not seeing any independence in this case, right? Any free will. Then what is in the Bhagavad Gita, many places Krishna is mentioning, Jiva has a free will. What does it mean? So, Jiva has a minute independence. It's not free will like Krishna. Krishna has a free will, means whatever he desires, it will happen. How it will happen? Generally in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna doesn't do any activities. But still, he is able to do many things. He is able to create. He is a creator of the material world. He is a creator of the material world. He is a maintainer of everything. Krishna doesn't do anything, but he maintains. How it is happening? Through his energies. Krishna is having 3, broadly we can classify 3 energies. Internal energy, internal potency, through which the spiritual world is created. Then a marginal energy, the living entity, and external energy. These 3 energies perform all the activities on behalf of Krishna. So these are the 3. Again, if you see, we now don't go into that chapter, but internal energy, again it has 3 parts. Sandhini Shakti, Samvit Shakti, and Ladini Shakti. These are the various 3 energies through which Krishna does all his activities. So now, the Jiva's living, Krishna's free will is the different way. So all these energies does activities for Krishna. Whatever Krishna desires, these energies are completely aligned with Krishna. They don't work independently. These 3 energies. So whatever Krishna desires, those things will happen through these energies. But what about living entity? Living entity is having only minute independence. This minute independence is only you will be able to decide whether you will be surrendering to spiritual energy or material energy. Whether Yoga Maya or Mahamaya. This is how you are having the minute independence using which you will be making decisions. So now because the desire is coming, so that is you are using your free will. Momentarily you have a desire through using which your free minute independence, free will. So you are coming into the material world. So this is the big background how Jiva coming into the material world. So with our desire, the momentarily desire, we coming into the material world. Now, when the Jiva come into the material world, he will be falling into the material world. So the reason is he is having the desire to enjoy like a Krishna. Krishna is having so much opulence, richness, everything in there. By saying that, he wanted to have that desire, the similar kind of enjoyment. So this is enviousness. What does it envious means? Envious means you have some other opposite person has some nice mobile phone or iPhone latest brand. When you see if you don't have that, then you will have a desire. Oh, he has that very nice phone. I don't have that. I should have that phone, right? This is called enviousness. Similar behavior in the spiritual world, Jiva exhibited. What he did? Krishna is enjoying nicely. Why can't I enjoy like the Krishna? That small fraction of moments he got the desire. That is called enviousness. This enviousness leads to anger. We will see how this is called Tamishra. So this is the first covering of the ignorance, the creator mentioned in this. So Tamishra means you have the desire, that the other person is having something good thing and you don't have it and you wanted to acquire that. And you try to acquire with whatever possible. When you fail to acquire that desire, then you will be into anger mode. So this is called Tamishra. Now, Tamishra, this is what the first covering, and it's not easy to remove. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning, because it makes you conditioned, right? Since you forgot your real identity, that you are servant of Krishna, you are into this material world, and you wanted to get you completely focused on enjoying these things, so material things. So you are always keen to get this, fulfill your desire. So when if desire is not fulfilled, you will get anger. So this is Tamishra. In the purport, Prabhupada is also mentioning, this Tamishra is not just for material people. Even transcendentalists will also have this Tamishra quality. Example, if the Mayavadis or impersonalists, what will they do? They do all the various yoga process, whatever other things, the austerities they do, and they avoid all the material enjoyment. But when they do, finally what is their ultimate aim? They wanted to one with Krishna. They wanted to merge with Krishna. They are not saying serving. They are saying they wanted to merge with Krishna. They wanted to serve Krishna. Not serving. They wanted to one with Krishna. They want to become a god. Right? This is again enviousness nature. They don't want to become a serving with. So whatever Krishna is doing, same thing. Like it's not a serving attitude. They want to become Krishna. They wanted. So this is also at the transcendental level also. This nature exists. So material people anyway sense enjoyment, but the transcendentalists like Mayavadis, impersonalists, all those things also, this Tamishra nature is exhibited. Now, there is one verse from the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. Jayate Vishyat Punsa, Sangas Teshupajayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kama, Kama Krodho Vijayate. So, this verse we can understand how the envious nature will be transformed into anger. This verse. So if I read the translation, while contemplating the objects of senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from the attachment, the lust develops. And from lust, anger arises. So this is the process. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained how the anger comes from enviousness. Just you have a desire, that desire has been transformed into anger. How? This is a nice example we can, because when we are studying Bhakti Shastri with our Siksha Guru Hemanga Chaitanya Prabhu, he nicely explained this verse with some material example. Even though I studied this verse long back, around 7 years back, still I remember this example when I read this verse. So he used to explaining this verse with some material example. It's like if you see the translation, while contemplating the objects of senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from the attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger arises. How this process works. Suppose most of the times, you will be going on book distribution, or some of them going to work, and we were going on George Street. When you go to George Street, you will see all the branded showrooms. Apple showroom is there, Samsung showroom is there, and many things are there, and many branded items. Suppose one fine day when you are walking on the road, George Street, you will see Apple showroom. There is a big queue. The reason is the new iPhone launched. And you will see the big queues up to Market Street or it's King Street. Fully it will be, people will be standing early morning, 4 o'clock onwards. People will be waiting for that to order and get the new brand of iPhone. Right? So you one day 9 o'clock you will be going to office, you will see big queue. Okay. Just you casually will go. And the next day, also you will go into some more people will be there. Not that much crowd, but the less crowd will be there. So a few more people will be, when you are walking on the street, George Street, you will see, okay, still some additional people are there. And okay, so you will go. And the third day when you go, then, everybody, last 3 days, I am going to watching going through this showroom. People are standing and going inside, many people. What is there? Then you will go there first. Then they will say, okay, this is the nice new branded iPhone. They will say, okay, then you will see that. Okay, that's fine. Then suddenly, still you didn't get enviousness, the desire you haven't got. But slowly you are moving towards that. So suddenly when you go to the office, then you will see one of your colleagues got the same branded iPhone. Right? So then your mind will start thinking, okay, the many people are outside, big queue is there. So many people are buying it. And today my colleague also bought that phone. Then why don't I have this phone? Well, I can also buy. Then you will start planning. Okay, if I save monthly this much, I can repay in 10 months or some, you will make some calculation. Or if I work some extra hours, I will get I will get some extra money. With that, I will be able to fulfill. So your desire, envious first desire came. And with the desire, you started. Initially, you were not interested. You keep on going to the same place again and again. And you saw the same item in your office. And then you started desiring that. Okay, I should also get planned. Now, you are working hard to get that phone. And then you put some target. Okay, in next 6 months, I should get this phone. And then you are working hard. But suddenly, one fine day, lockdown started. No work, no jobs. And what will happen? Your desire is completely shattered. You don't have any, your income has come down. You don't have during the lockdown, we see many people have difficulty in surviving, like no jobs, no money, no work. So, what will happen? Your mind, first you started contemplating on the object. That's what, while contemplating the objects, you develop attachment. You started seeing the phone regularly, you developed attachment. And once the attachment develops, you plan, make it. And suddenly, you got to know that you are unable to fulfill the desire. What will happen? You will get frustration. You will get anger. This is how our enviousness nature, desire to enjoy something, were transformed into anger. So this is the verse. I remember Prabhu explained with the example. Prabhu mentioned little bit window shopping. He used to mention, when you through on going to the window shopping, nice branded, you keep on walking through that place, and finally you get attachment. Okay. So, see, this is how it transforms. Your anger and your envious nature is transformed into anger when you are unable to fulfill. Now, this is what we understand. Because why I took the example, this Tamishra means it's enviousness or anger. We can come with these two things. Now, the next one is Tamishra. Now, when the jiva came into the material world, he forgot that his body is not, he's thinking that I am the body. So, he first of all, he forgot his real identity. That his real identity is, he was a spirit soul, he was serving Krishna. But he forgot this identity. The next thing is, since he is in the material world, he has to take some shelter. What is the other shelter? It is a matter. So, then he thinks that, okay, I am the body, I am not. Then he forgot that he is a spirit soul, and he started thinking, I am the body. So, now he is identifying himself as a body. Now, what is happening? Right from the birth, right until end, that is the life. Nothing else beyond the life. There is the Charvaka Muni. He's proposed this philosophy. What? Once you take birth, after death, nothing else beyond this birth and death. So this is the lifespan. So everything starts with birth, ends with death. So the Charvaka Muni was mentioning this philosophy. And what will happen between? So when you are living it, you live for the full extent, enjoy the material nature. And we suppose if you want to buy, either steal from somewhere, beg or borrow. Get the things and enjoy. This is the nature of Tamishra. This was the principle proposed by Charvaka Muni some 1,000 years back. I remember at that stage, there is only one Charvaka Muni who proposed this philosophy, and many sages were proposing godly consciousness, Krishna consciousness. But in the current world, it is other way around. There will be many Charvaka Muni followers, disciplic succession is increasing, but we have very few disciplic, proper devotional path, people who are following the bhakti path are coming. So it's completely turned the opposite way. So this is what the Charvaka Muni. So what he says, you steal, beg or borrow. Get the thing, enjoy it. Then people who got this little bit knowledge on the Bhagavad Gita, like you say, okay, if I borrow from someone, I need to repay. If I do some sinful activities, I have to take birth. After this is some minimal karma siddhanta, you will have normal people. If somebody asks this question, what Charvaka Muni says, forget. Once you are dead, your body burned into ashes. Where is the question of getting a new life? So that is the argument they will propose. This is all completely atheistic philosophy. They don't believe anything beyond birth and death. This is the Tamishra. See, once upon a time you are a spirit soul. once you entered into this material world, first you forgot, you started developing attraction towards material things, and then you started losing your identity. You understand yourself as a body. Then you are completely entangled in all the basic aim is to enjoy this material world full of extent, whatever possible. That became the nature philosophy. So this is the Andhata Mishra. Next one is Tamas. So Tamas means darkness or ignorance. The Andhata Mishra comes because of this Tamas only. Because you don't have the right knowledge. What is the right knowledge, correct knowledge? You are not the body, you are the soul. Your ultimate aim is to serve Krishna. This knowledge is missing. This knowledge is lacking. So because of this ignorance, these are Tamas, this nature is coming. And through this Tamas nature only, all the Andhata Mishra, those desires are coming. So Prabhupada also mentioned in this purport, this not only living entity is having the Tamas nature, but material world is also, it's a Tamas nature. How? Material world in the Bhagavad Gita we have verse, Natad Bhashate Suryo, Na Shashanko Na Pavaka, Yadgartva Nivartante, Taddama Paramam Mama. In that verse, Krishna says there is another world which doesn't require sun or a moon or electricity to illuminate. So it means this material world we see, in the daytime we need sunlight, in the night time we need electricity. Right? These things are required. So that means this material world is dark. That is Tamas nature. Not only that, we read in the previous example, Andhata Mishra nature is widely spreading, increasing. Everybody in the material world is thinking that I am the body, I am not the soul. They are not thinking that it is their soul. They are thinking that only body. They are the body. So that concept is increasing, and that's why it's 99% of the people on this material world are this ignorance, Tamas nature exhibiting. So that's why this material world is also this nature. And next one is Moha. Now, so you started identifying yourself as a body. You are not the soul. Now the next step is everything belongs to this body is mine. That is the logic you will derive, and you will be taking everything mine, and you have to enjoy it. Right from family, society, nation, at the different levels, you are this possession, you are mine, everything is mine, my country, my family, my society, my house. This kind of attitude will develop, because now you are heading towards more and more sense enjoyment, and you completely don't have any spiritual knowledge. So only the knowledge you have is enjoying this material world, how to enjoy this material world. So gradually you are going into that. So you identify yourself as a body, and you start enjoying. There is a nice pastime from Indra. In Indra, when he was cursed by his spiritual master Bruhaspati, and he became hog, the pig in the material world. And so after some time, no one is there in Indra, in heavenly planet. Brahma himself came to take the Indra back to heavenly kingdom. And then Brahma was telling, no, I am very busy here in this material world. I have my wife, I have my children, I have huge responsibility. I don't want to go back to heavenly planet. That was the position, because he was in this moha, he conditioned by the material nature, and he was into that moha, the attachment. Everything is mine. So he was understanding himself is a bodily stage, and he's thinking everything is material, and he started identifying this body is mine, I have the family, and I have the kid. So I don't want. Indra himself got into this situation, understand how powerful this conditioned material nature. So we have to be, that's what Prabhupada was always saying, we always should care and worry about Maya. Devotees also, we should be always conscious about Maya. At any point of time, you may fall into trap of Maya. So we have to be, these examples will make us more cautious, more serious, that we have to be very careful about this Maya, this material conditioned nature. So because we have a free will other side, that free will takes us into any time into the Maya. So we have to be very cautious and careful about this. Now the next one is Mahamoha, or I think these two words given. Mahatamas or Mahamoha. So now this is the extreme kera level of moha. Well, see, you got started with Tamishra, Andhatamishra, Moha, Tamas nature. So unless you deviate from this path, somewhere in this progress, evolution, unless you don't get contact with the devotees, your desire for the material sense enjoyment will increase. Unless you don't get association of the devotee, or unless you get a chance, somehow or other, you get some spiritual spark coming into your mind. Otherwise, these desires will go increasingly. Like a dil mange more. The more your senses are fulfilled, desires are fulfilled, you are getting for more and more, right? So this is what the nature. So when the excessive attachment, excessive sense enjoyment, everything is in excessive state. This is a stage Maha Moha. So you don't have any spiritual support. Nobody is there to guide you that these all things are wrong. Then you will be trapped into this Maha Moha stage. So this is where that when this Maha Moha Prabhupada explained, right? So when you are attracted to the woman, and then you will form, after that, after having the relation with the woman, you will have a family, then you will think house, then you will try to acquire and more money. And I think I remember one past time, long back I heard, like one guru gave his shishya, guru was traveling, and he told his disciple that, okay, I'll be coming after 3-4 years, he told, you stay there, you take this Bhagavad Gita, you do your Shastra Patan, like scriptural reading. Then he started staying alone. What happens after some time, he started that, there said some, I think it starts with some rat. He's coming and disturbing, and he's trying to eat that book. Then he thinks that, okay, to avoid the rat, he wanted to think, okay, it's disturbing my study, so I have to get some cat. So that cat will, by seeing the cat, the rat will be, they can eat rat, cat will eat the rat, so I can manage the rat issue like that. Then after some time, then he has to maintain the rat. For that, he needs to give some milk or something. Then he's saying that, okay, I have to go outside and get something. Then the desires, like one after other desires are coming. Finally, after some time, okay, he got a house and everything, he got married. The desires were increasing one by one, and finally, when Guru comes back, he will have a nice family, everything. He forgot all the Shastra. This is the example how we trapped into the material Maya. So this is the excessive attachment. First you start with some small desire, and then it will keep on extending. Since there was no one is there to guide you to spiritual direction, then you will be, this is the age is Maha Moha. That when you completely forget your original identity, full excessively involved in material enjoyment, no other goal other than enjoyment in materially, that is a Maha Moha stage. Now, what will happen when you entrapped in all these 5 coverings? What will happen? There is another verse in the Bhagavad Gita, next to that, the verse which I told. Krodha bhavatu sammohan, sammoha smuti vibrama. Smuti bramsa buddhinasho pranasyati. What will happen? The purport. From anger, complete delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment comes. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence lost, one entrapped into the material pool. So what is it? First, krodha bhavatu sammohan. From the complete, from the krodha means anger. Anger to sammohan. You will be delusion. Delusion means false belief. Something which is not yours, but you think that you wanted to get this. And from the sammoha to smuti bramsha. Smuti bramsha means bewilderment. Once you get delusion, from the delusion to you will get bewilderment. Then from the bewilderment, you will say buddhinasha. Buddhinasha means you will lose the intelligence. You will not be able to discriminate what is right, what is wrong. You wanted to get the iPhone, to get the new brand of iPhone, you will do whatever is required. Whether you don't discriminate whether I am doing the right thing or wrong thing. So you wanted to possess that item. So you do whatever is required, you do. You don't care whether it is right or wrong. That is where buddhinasha. Smuti bhamsha, buddhinasha. So when you completely bewildered and you wanted to get this, and you are buddhinasha. Buddhinasha pranasati. Finally you will be entangled in the material pool. This is how these all coverings are making you to stay in this material world. And only thing is, unless you realize this, and you take the shelter of Krishna, you take the association of devotees, you will not be able to come back. So, in this case, we can also have a nice comparison of between the devotee who is in the materialist condition with these 5 coverings and a devotee. What is the difference? If you see, understand, the material world person, his only goal is to enjoy this material world. Whereas, in the spiritual devotee's way, Bhoktaram Yagnatistam, Krishna is the enjoyer. You are only serving Krishna. This is the difference, main difference. So, in the material world, you are the enjoyer. In the spiritual world, when the devotee thinks that Krishna is the enjoyer. So, that minute, this difference is the how we can understand whether you are in the covered by these 5 coverings or you are in the devotional path. As long as you are trying to please Krishna for everything, you are in a right way. Otherwise, you are in a Maya. You are entrapped with these 5 coverings. So with this, I will conclude here. Any comments? Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Question is, if a momentary thought has resulted in the immediate fall down of the jiva from spiritual world to material world, why is that the converse is not true? In the sense that the momentary thought of going back home, back to Godhead, doesn't take him back to the spiritual world.
Because when it comes to the material world, it's not your wish. Now, because the material world is created such that when you have to enjoy in this material world, you have to forget your spiritual identity, right? That's why these coverings are created. Once you come into the coverings are there, you entrapped in that momentarily desire when you got it. After 1,000 births, to go back to Godhead, right? That we need to see. So, suppose you came into the material world, and you said the momentarily desire go back to, but that momentarily desire, when you got that, at which stage? So, because we are entrapped in these 5 coverings, these 5 coverings makes you to forget your real identity. When you find you are completely in the material enjoyment, right? So, your consciousness has changed everything. So, to go back to Godhead, our consciousness has to be completely changed, completely focused on Krishna. That is what we are doing, Krishna consciousness. Remember Krishna every time. Right? When you get that into the mode, then only you will go back to. It's not just desire. Your consciousness has to change in that mode. Then only you will go back to Godhead. So, losing that identity is easy. Any time, like destruction is easy, but construction is always difficult, right? So, the same way, losing our identity is easy. But bringing back to that identity, it takes time. It's not just a desire. You need to develop that consciousness. Because your consciousness has lost due to all the coverings created in the material world. Right.
The words mentioned in the shloka, Tamishra and Anda-Tamishra, are they anyway related to the hellish planets? I think they are called hellish planets.
See, this is we can see this material world is consist of like 14 planets, right? The heavenly planets, middle earth planet, and hellish planet. So, in the material world also we are exhibiting this nature, right? It can be anywhere in the material world, right? So in the material world also we are exhibiting this Tamishra and the Tamishra nature. Right? The human material living entities are exhibiting this. But in same thing, anywhere you can exhibit these qualities. It's a complete material world package. So from this purport point of view, I didn't find any difference, but anywhere in the material world you can have, it's not just for Earth planet, right? So anywhere you can have these qualities. Vishnu Purana. Yeah. So the Prabhupada gave the reference. Where is the proof for all this? He quoted this verse, Vishnu Purana. Same thing. On the Tamishra, everything was mentioned. Same thing Prabhupada explained in the purport. Anything else? Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samved Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.